Good morning guys, and welcome to our 11:30 Animal Keeper experience. Today we're going to be doing an owl experience with you today. It's going to be a very brief one. It's about a quarter of what you guys would be doing if you came along with us. We're going to wait for about 12 people to join, and then we are going to make a start. So while we're waiting, we're just going to say please feel free to do the video sharing thing, the watch party on this video. Please share it and all that lovely stuff. Please like and comment and react to this video, and please feel free to comment any questions, and myself who will be sort of doing a bit of the talking and flying, and James, who's behind the camera, will do our best to try and answer them for you. How are we getting on?
We're on free.
Wunderbar. Excellent. Well, thank you for everyone who has joined us so far. I will try to make sure it's not too boring while we're waiting for more people to turn up. So I'll give you a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be doing today. We're going to try and show you what we do for our owl experiences. Now, our owl experiences are an ever-changing sort of facet. They're never the same every day. So when you guys come along, typically what we'll be doing is you'll be flying a number of our morning birds, which are our morning sort of experience birds, learning a bit about them, learning how to prepare the food, learning how to fly them, and genuinely sort of chilling out with us for a couple of hours. These birds that we use do typically change. We like to rotate them as often as possible. We try and make sure each of the birds gets a go in each of the shows where possible. Obviously our large birds can't go to the 1:30 show, but we do try and rotate it. So first of all, there's a bit of variety for us, but also for the birds as well. How are we getting?
We're on 8. 9.
9, excellent. So, I'm just going to begin. So, the first thing we have to do with our keeper experiences is prepare the food for the animals. Each of our birds, we fly them with something called flying pieces, so I'm going to get them out for you now. There we are, excellent wings. So, I'll prepare that for you. Where's the chick? There's a rat, there's a mouse. Right, if any of you are having your breakfast, I do apologise. So, this is what we feed our animals. So, they get a mixture of chick, rat, rabbit, quail or mouse. It really varies depending on the day. We do try and diversify as much as possible. Not due to taste, owls generally don't have a very good sense of taste or smell. In fact, it's pretty much non-existent. But each of them has different nutritional quantities. So, today everyone's got chick, so it's day-old chick. Try and find a nice one. Day-old chick, a byproduct of the egg trade. So they are the male chicks that can't lay eggs. Sadly, because the egg industry has no use for the male chicks, because they can't lay eggs, they're gassed at a day old, and then they either go to landfill or they go to someone like us where we can, for want of a better word, recycle them. Here at Knockhatch we are very keen on recycling. And then what we do is we use the wings. These are what we call flying pieces. This is what we fly our birds to, along with legs. For the smaller birds, like the barn owls, like some white-faced owl, we use these smaller pieces because we'll get on to white in just a second. For the big birds, we use legs. And then we have something called end pieces. So for Gandalf, this is his food for today. He'll have these small pieces that he'll fly to, and he'll have these larger pieces that he'll get at the end, and that's kind of like his main meal. Now, if I can turn you just a second, turn you to our lovely board. Each of our birds is at a flying weight. Now basically what this means is that it is the weight that our birds fly best at. I would like to point out that this is not a weight that they're so hungry they have to fly for us. This is not starving them, because if they were too hungry, they'd think, what's the point in staying here? I've got better opportunities elsewhere, and they'd disappear. But what we also want to make sure is they're not so heavy that there's no point doing any flights. So for Gandalf, who we are doing today, around 265 grams is his flying weight. So that's kind of a happy medium. He's not so hungry that he thinks there's better food elsewhere, but he's not so full up that he thinks, why on earth would I fly for you? I'm totally full and totally happy. So that's sort of where we stick them at. So those little flying pieces are just to make sure he doesn't get full too quickly. Obviously we want him to fly to us, but we don't want to, each wing weighs a gram. If we were to, we want to make sure that by the end of it there's 10 wings in there. He's only about 275 grams to make him all out to fly. But that's the boring stuff out of the way. Shall we go and get the bird? I've already made up Gandalf's food for you. There's one I made earlier. dokie. Let's take off glove. And Mark's horrible glove.
We have a question already.
I have a question.
From Eric Knight asking why on the board do some of them have fat next to them?
So they're the birds that we have rested. So we are about to walk past our best example of that. That is our snowy owl. Now, if you guys know anything about snowy owls, you'll know they like to live in cold conditions, so the Arctic. The problem is, obviously here in the UK, it does get fairly warm. So what we will usually do is put his weight up massively, let him basically go on something called fat weight, where he gets to molt out his feathers, have a little rest, and we do that from about March through to September, October, because it just wouldn't be fair to fly him. Some of our other birds, have we got anyone else on fat weight? No, I don't think we do we?
Optic.
Optic, there we go. So on that optic here, starting to look a little bit tatty. He's been flying for a fairly long time, so we thought we'd give him a few months off as rest. We call that fat weight because basically we give them loads of food so they're nice and comfortable. But shall we go and see Gandalf? I think so. Usually slightly gaudy for a course. James, like I said earlier, and as Eric has, please feel free to comment if you have any questions about any of the animals that you're going to see today. And I would also like to preference this bit of flying with all of these birds. They are not robots. We cannot force them to do anything. If Gandalf here chooses not to fly, that is totally out of my control. So fingers crossed he flies well. Would you want to stay and have a look at Barney? I'll go and get Gandalf out for you.
Yeah. We'll go have a quick little say hello to Barney while Ben's getting Gandalf out. So I do have to admit, watching someone get a bird out isn't very interesting. Hello, Barney. You want a little tickle? Oh. So me and Barney have a very interesting relationship. Some days we're the best of friends. And he'll rub up against the mesh like this, expecting a little tickle. Then every now and then he'll try to bite my finger off. And you see he's raising his little foot, give himself a little scratch behind the ear. But occasionally he'll try and grab me with it, which isn't very nice, is it, Barney? You haven't got me yet, which I count as a win. So, Ben has got Gandalf. He's just tying him to his glove, and then he'll be out with us. And then we will get on with the rest of our routine.
Excellent. So this here is Gandalf. Gandalf is our barn owl. I won't spend too long standing talking about him because as he's a barn owl, they are a bit chaotic and he doesn't always sit very nicely on the glove. But I'll give you a very brief chat about barn owls because they are one of my favourite owls. These guys are arguably the most successful owls on the planet, found on every continent except for Antarctica. So they are the most widely distributed owl, second most widely distributed bird of prey other than the peregrine falcon, and they owe a lot of that success due to their feathers. They've got incredibly quiet flight, almost silent flight, which means their prey don't hear them coming, their predators don't hear them coming or going either. This is based on a couple of things. First of all, the way that they laid the feathers out. So a lot of birds, their feathers will be nice and close together, which is why they're very, very loud. The air has to go around the feathers. They have little gaps, barn owls have little gaps between their feathers, touch the air very nicely, very quietly. Does mean that they're not very particularly waterproof, it does mean they have very, very quiet flight. It's also their adaptable nature and the fact that they're quite generalist feeders. They'll usually only eat rodents, but they will eat pretty much anything. So yeah, it's probably why these guys have done so well. But we're going to go and fly him, and I think James can do a nice little talk on Gandalf for you while I'm attempting to fly this guy.
Hopefully.
Do you have any questions yet?
We don't, we just have Joanne saying hello to Barney.
Jan? Oh, he's been covered.
You may have noticed that when Ben went to get Gandalf out, he did a bit of a costume change and he lost the hat. Quite a lot of our birds don't like hats and will actually refuse to fly for us if we're wearing one, which is incredibly annoying and inconvenient, especially when it's very sunny out. But yeah. is he?
265.
265. So, as I talked about in one of our other videos, after we weigh them, we make a note of it every day. And I'm doing this left-handed, so don't judge me. Oh, Lord. Oh. Well, that's the best we're going to get. So, now, got one here for you, Ben.
Oh. Thank you very much. So this here is our telemetry. It's basically used to track our birds. You don't really like yours getting put on, do you? Now, I'm not going to say too much about the telemetry because I know James is very eager to do a video on them later on in the month. So I won't ruin it for you. But essentially, the little tracker we use to find our birds. Now,
we have a question.
we have a question. Excellent.
From Mark.
Mark Joyce.
Mm-hmm. Do any birds dislike you?
That's a very good question. Generally, I've got quite a good rapport with the birds. Jackson hasn't always been my best friend, has he? Jackson isn't always been particularly fond of me. He's flying very well now. One of the issues we had with Jackson was he was incredibly heavy for a long time. Now he's at a correct weight. He's a lot more active, a lot more responsive, and he's flying like he should. Other than that, I can't think of many. Maybe Inca. Inca's not my... doesn't always fly great for me. She actually adores James, who's behind you. But no, not massively. Right, shall we vamos?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Excellent. Now I will say that we're always quite cautious about doing live flying videos with our birds, predominantly because a bird seems to know when he's live and then refuses to fly. So please just bear with us. I will say you might have noticed Sophie pottering around. Here she comes now. Coming out with the camera. We want to very quickly do a little glimpse of what we're going to be doing later on.
I'll see if anyone can spot it. Oh, they won't have a hope to see it from this distance. But later on in our 8 o'clock little bit, we're going to be doing, well, I'm going to be doing some arts and crafts.
That's really exciting.
It is. So if anyone has any old milk cartons and little twigs about, get them, some scissors, maybe a bit of string, and we'll be having a bit of arts and crafts later.
Tune in at 8 o'clock for that. But at the moment, we have the wonderful Gandalf. Are we ready?
We are.
Ready, Gandalf? Yeah? Okay.
Sorry, Eric, I've only just seen your question. Yes, Eric Knight asking how much, I'm guessing, variation in weight could there be to stop you being able to fly him today?
I would say if he was 15 grams over, we wouldn't fly him. If he was 10 grams under, we wouldn't fly him. I'll hand you over to James, who's probably going to chat to you a little bit more about it.
Yeah. So Gandalf here is actually one of our sort of older birds that we have. He's just coming up to about 12 years old now. The reason Ben just then was very frantically waving his arms about is in an attempt to retrain the behaviour into Gandalf, which he has long forgotten. So naturally in the wild, these birds, what they would do is a form of... Huh?
Did you laugh at my failure?
I did laugh. They'll do a sort of form of active hunting where they'll actually sort of go out into a field and do these figures of eights, these sort of snaking movements over the field, listening, looking down, trying to listen for their food. Their favourite habitat is this sort of long grass, sort of meadowy field, so most of the time they're not actually going to be able to hear the prey that they are after. So they're not going to be able to see, and they have to rely on that hearing to do so. So it's a huge sort of asset to them, their hearing, and it is incredible. But what we are trying to do with him is, because he's so old, he's done quite a lot in his little life. One of which is that we did teach this quartering behaviour into him. But due to lots of reasons, one of which is he wasn't asked to do it for quite a long time, for like I said, a couple of reasons. And the other is for any of you that have been coming here for a very, very long time, you will have noticed that about 4 years ago now, it must be, we had a bit of a rejig with our flying field, making it a bit more acceptable for most species of owl, giving them sort of these more sort of branches, natural trees to perch on, stuff like that. But once upon a time, the only perches we had were that back one there, that back one there, the two high ones up there, and we had a big semicircle flying field, which... Oh, is he taking himself home? Brilliant. So he had a much more open space to fly about in. Also, one thing, especially with our barn owls that we have here, is that in general, they tend to be quite attention seeking. And as a result, they, when they're not getting as much attention as they want, they can be a little bit of a sort of spoiled brat, really. And Gandalf's realised that it's a lot easier. What he'll do is, we've got a little passageway that we walked through just then. He'll fly through that, fly up and land on the fence, which you can just see there. And when he's done that, he knows that we're going to come get him. So we have actually, there was a lovely butterfly there. Don't know if you would have seen that. So normally what we will do is we will sort of wait out here and try and get him to come back. Unfortunately, I think for modesty's sake, Ben's gone and got him. And then we do have a question from Mark Joyce asking what role do barn owls play in conservation. The barn owl is one of these sort of, they're incredibly important. It's oh, so close, Gandalf. So they are pest controllers. They eat an extraordinate amount of mice and voles and things every year, which is of benefit to us, obviously, especially sort of farmers and people who are growing crops. Keeps the pest numbers down and stops the use of reduces the need of things like unnatural pesticides and poisons. So they are incredibly good pest controllers. That is their sort of main role in the sort of ecosystem. But in terms of conservation, they do keep the pest numbers down, and they do sort of offer competition for other species of birds like your tawny owls. Although a tawny owl very easily outcompete a barn owl, their simple presence does put a little bit of pressure on them, which stops the tawny owl numbers going sort of too far out of control. But I think we are going to call that it for Gandalf. And you would have noticed that wasn't very long at all. Gandalf is an old bird. Normally we do a lot longer. Unfortunately, on a hot day like today, where he's being a little bit of a pain, we're not going to push him too much, because there is sort of well, especially with birds, there's the curse of just one more, which is everything will be going absolutely perfect. The bird will be doing, or any animal really, will be doing exactly what you want it to. And you'll be thinking, oh my God, this is amazing. I'll do just one more. And upon saying that, it's almost like the animal knows, and they'll do everything in their power to muck up and go wrong. So what we try to do with most of the birds, especially as you guys aren't here, as you can see, it's dead. It's an excellent chance for us to really sort of hammer in those positive behaviours. And although he didn't exactly do what we wanted him to today, what the plan is for the sort of future is we've actually, myself and Ben, over winter, just behind that field there in one of our old sort of fields, we've made a sort of a mock-up little perch up there. We're going to use that as our sort of base to, basically, by reducing the amount of options he has to land on, it's going to encourage him to sort of stay in the air longer. So the plan is we're going to build up his fitness over there, and we're going to come back over here and hopefully sort of transfer that behaviour. But that is essentially what we're going to start doing now. The only reason we didn't do that today is because the field's a bit messy. We didn't exactly want to show it off. But other than that, I think we are done.
Yes, I would quickly like to say Gandalf is one of our morning bird teams, so he would be one of the ones you guys might be doing with your owl experience. If you do want to do an owl experience when you guys come back after the lockdown, please go to the Knockhatch website. Chris is usually watching these videos. He might be able to put a link up in the comments. If not, we will try to after. Please tune in at 2:30 for our birthday shout-outs, at 3 o'clock for our walkabout, which we're really excited for today. We've got a bit of a treat for you today, and for us. I mean, mainly it's a treat for us. And at 8 o'clock 8 o'clock? Yeah.
Yeah.
8:30. No, 8 o'clock.
8, yeah.
At 8 o'clock, we have our zoo project video, in which James has already said he'll be doing some DIY with you, and myself and Sophie have got some exciting things to show you as well. Thanks very much, guys, and we look forward to seeing you again shortly.
Cool. I will quickly, as Ben just runs off to put Gandalf away, I'll quickly answer Mark's last question, which is, do owls migrate? Some species do. Snowy owls, they are one of the few that do. They spend quite a lot of their time going up and down the Americas, so in the winters they'll spend most of their time up Alaska, and during the summers they'll come down. But overall, most species don't. They are very lazy animals. They don't normally have reason to. They're specialists to the environments that they sort of live in, and as a result they don't feel the need to, apart from certain species, like I said, the snowy owl, and that is just because they are so specialists and have to deal with those different temperatures, and they can really sort of just change dramatically, and they have such an untold effect on the birds. But apart from that, guys, thank you for tuning in. As Ben said, we've got all the other stuff going on today, but apart from that, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, guys.